Welcome back, everybody, to the Heart, Mind, Money podcast with Perla, where I get to extract the magic from our founder of Latina Empire. I am your host, Giselle Mascareñas. I am the Chief Operating Officer of Latina Empire, which is a dream job. I can't tell you. I mean, it's amazing. And today, I can't wait to go into this subject because, Perla, the one thing I know about you is that I don't think you have an ego. I know that we've talked about on the other episodes that there is a good ego and a bad ego. I just feel like you don't have an ego. Like you're really good at just being super self-aware, like you're self-aware about everything, about the surroundings, about people and the conversations they're having, so you know kind of how like to navigate that because they're not in the right place to be tough on them right now. When like I know before you, I would have been like, okay, snap the shit, freak out of it. We got to get to work. And I learned from you like, no. You have to be aware, right? So today we're going to go deep into your brain about ego identity versus true identity.
Correct.
Does ego keep people from living their truth? And if so, why don't people walk through life egoless?
Well, the ego is born with us the day we were born. It's been with us our whole life. And if you go back and study, I can tell you that the majority of the decisions you've made have been based in your ego. So what is your ego?
Yeah.
Your ego is the protection of thyself. So you're there to protect yourself. It's your ego versus you exterior world, right? And so I had to learn to tame my ego because one time in some years ago, actually 6 years ago this month, I almost lost my entire life and who I was because of my ego. I believed myself and my actions so much of my ego that I ended up breaking my marriage, firing myself as the CEO of my companies, and almost merely losing it all because I was so wrapped up in my own ego, which being wrapped up in your own ego is feeding your own bullshit.
And when you say that, because I've heard you say that, but now I have the opportunity, you can't go anywhere, and now I get to ask you. Like, did you're like, yo no estoy para eso, yo valgo más de eso. Sí. I'm not gonna go and do this or do that. Is that what that little voice, is that what the voice is? Yeah. Is that the ego going, I'm better than this?
Oh, yeah,
I don't need this. I don't need you.
Yeah. The ego feeds you BS. It's good sometimes, but if you don't tame it, it'll take you beyond your distress, beyond your most unimaginable troubles. Because if you reply with ego, if you make decisions based on ego, they are 1000% all emotions and self-centered around you. So nobody else matters but you. So if two of us, just think about it this way. If you and I won the lottery.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And we won the same lottery. It's $100 million lotto ticket. We won the same one. If I were to believe my ego, what would you think my ego would tell me about that $100 million lottery ticket?
You don't want to share it.
Of course not. Why would I want to share it? That's what the ego does. The ego does not look at what's fair. The ego feeds you what you want to hear. Your ego will just worry about you and only you and nobody else matters. So,
yeah.
If you were in a situation where you and I won the lottery, it's a $100 million jackpot, right? And, you know, we have some leverage over each other, whether you won or I won, etc. Ego would tell me, you fight for what is yours because it only belongs to you.
It was your $20.
It was your $20. You need this for your projects, for your kids, for your future, and nobody else matters. And you have to fight for yourself. Rain or shine, you have to take home the entire jackpot, the $100 million.
And nothing's in writing.
So screw your friend, right?
Right.
That's
That
what
is
ego does.
That is what ego
But
does.
in order to action towards believing your ego, you have to disrespect the other person. You have to lie. You have to be envious.
You have to create a scenario.
You have to be conniving. You have to be rude. And you have to be forceful. And you have to play dirty.
Yeah.
So think about all those emotions that
To
carry
win.
out so that you feed your ego. So that when you walk out of there, you walk out with $100 million in your pocket. But look at all that karma, all that hate that you had to put against your friend to take the $100 million. That's what ego does. It just feeds you so much BS. But in order for you to do it and to feed it, it makes you action super negative things that later bring distress, drama, depression, anxiety, and anything you can think of. So
Yeah.
I went through a situation where I believed myself of my ego and I almost lost myself. I remember saying, being in such toxic situations, saying, if this is the end of me, that's it. I don't care. I'm tired. Like this is crazy. Like this is crazy. Like if I don't get what I want and like I'm tired of this game, because you start playing a game with yourself. Going back to the lottery situation, my fair ego, my fairness, and my justfulness would say, okay, there's $100 million. You
bought it together.
It was your idea to buy the lotto ticket, but I gave you the $20 and then you cashed at me $10. We had agreed that we were gonna share the lotto. Here we are today. Awesome possum. We won the 100 million. We're gonna go in there. Do you want to claim the ticket or do you want me to claim the ticket? And then we go our split ways and happy ending. How fair is that? But that fairness and not playing dirty is gonna make you be at peace. You're not gonna make an extra $50 million, but you're gonna be at peace with yourself. And so that's how you learn.
It's gonna feel good.
And that's how you learn to tame yourself. And you have to learn to tame your ego, because your ego will drive you insane.
I really think people walk through life not even knowing that a lot of situations that they cause themselves grief and pain and anxiety and stress is based on their ego.
It's based on their ego. And ego are emotions. It's what you feel. Because you're always on survival mode, on protective mode, on I matter and only me matter. It's mío, 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 mío. But if you go back to what I've talked about in the past, you're not here alone.
No, I know.
You're here because of other people. You have to be grateful. Like we're here in this set right now because you had a magnificent idea. How am I going to get Perla to get her ideas out of her? She doesn't like to do lives. Let me do a podcast. Okay.
You love having conversations.
And I love
teachable moments.
And I love teachable moments and I love conversations. But if we dig deep into this space was created by the resources that I allotted.
Yes.
That you went on the internet, thanks to other people that carry these things, and you purchased all of this. And then back, this building, I bought it 12 years ago.
Yeah.
By somebody that built it in 1982.
Yeah.
So you always have to be grateful for all the hands of what you currently live today.
Yeah. And you mean it.
I'm serious.
Like you really mean it. It's one thing to like say, this hit me because we've been creating these episodes and you said this very important bit of information on sharing with people. Like you have to remember that you're not in anything alone. And so that hit me really hard. And today I was even thinking, I'm like, I know a lot of people say it like, oh, I wouldn't have been here because of you, or I wouldn't have done this but do you get into action to really like show them the gratitude, to send them a letter, to like, and then I was like thinking about all the people who like helped me get here, even the people that really made me suffer.
They made you stronger.
But they made me stronger, and they made me realize that I wasn't going to allow that in my space anymore. I was going to be really like protective, but not in a bad way, just more of my energy matters, because if I protect it and don't allow those things around me, then that's not going to happen to me.
Correct.
And then I'm going to be able to show up y dar más, give more of myself to impact others.
Claro. And not only that, You have to constantly be filtering yourself and curating your emotions, because your emotions, you don't know how you're going to feel in 2 hours from now.
No.
It relies on the machine, on your body, right? But you do, what you can set yourself up is to be ready that if the machine gets an egotistic idea, you are skilled to tame it.
Yes.
And to choose what is fair, right?
From practice.
Because it's not going to happen in the first one.
No.
And you also have to take into consideration that when you start cleaning your space and you start doing non-egotistical decisions, you start filtering your space and you just are left with love, joy, trust, respect, peace, and that travels in the circles that you're with. So it's like you have a bulletproof around you of joy, peace, and abundance. And when the machine or somebody else's machine wants to do something egotistical and wants to do like mess you up, well, then now you know how to think about yourself, your response, align with that person's response, and also take into consideration that sometimes you have to lose.
Yes.
You don't always win.
Because you don't have to win.
You are the outside judge of your ego. And when you're in ego presence, you always think you have to win. And you will do whatever it is to win. When you have learned to tame your ego and you are the judge of your ego, what does a judge do? It's there to impart peace,
balance,
equilibrium, balance. So now you're the judge of your ego. So you're there to impart peace, equilibrium, and balance, and you shall understand that sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
And when you are in your safe space of people and they know that you are so justful, that you impart fairness, and that sometimes you too lose, you will gain people's respect. Like
So
you
much
have
so.
no idea. And people will automatically have their guard down and just be fair with you and have sensible conversations and interactions and trades, because they know that you're not there from ego, that you know how to lose, and that you're not there to chingarlos, that you're there just to be fair. And you've seen me go through situations
So much.
where I've had to lose or I've had to break up a relationship, of a working relationship, and I don't take it personal.
No. And you really don't even lose, because the people that even got to learn from you and experience you,
They're
grew
grateful.
so much, and
they're
are grateful.
grateful.
Even if they don't get to be in your working environment anymore, they're grateful because you were so just.
And I
you are
still have a relationship with them.
You still have a relationship
and
with
from
them.
a relationship that could go negative, I rescue it to normalcy, to normalcy, to respect, to justfulness, to fairness.
Because you're honest.
Because I'm honest.
And you use facts, and you're not trying to win.
And I'm not trying
And
to
you're
chingar anybody.
you're not trying to take from anyone.
No.
So, in that, like, I think back of where, you always think like, I've always been a good person. And I think everybody relatively is good, but ego creeps up on you.
We have been born good. We were born from love.
And ego is about a protection mechanism that we have inside. And it sometimes goes a little bit off. And this is like, and you don't even know that you're like feeding it, when you realize where it's like, when you find yourself like, frustrated or whatever with somebody because you didn't get what you wanted, or they didn't turn something in, or they're late, or whatever little things, that's your ego. That is not, because you haven't even get curious. This is what I've trained myself to do, and that's why I truly believe I live a peaceful life, even in chaos, right? But it's because I've trained myself to go like, ooh, what is that happening right now? Like, I want to punch that person in the face right now, but why? Because I want to win.
Giselle and her little mind going.
I am like, but I'm like smiling because I'm like, no. Where's that coming from? Where's that coming from? Why? Right? And I know I've had these conversations with you. I'm like, Perla, I think I really want to tell this person to go F themselves. Like, tell me why. And you're like, no, pórtate bien. And I don't act on it. And I'm so grateful that I have you and in our mana lounge, like that's what we have. We have each other to be able to be like, okay, I'm feeling this way, and I know I
and
know
how do
I'm
I fix it?
How do I fix it?
make it
if
better?
I feel icky, it's icky, guys, and it's ego. If I feel icky about a situation, it's ego. Like I'm like, oh, if you are angry or somebody's aggravating you, it's because leading without ego is compassion, and it's like stepping back and going, okay, where is this coming from? Okay. Well, we don't know what they're living. Whatever they're living, they're not ready to live an ego-free life. They're not ready to like show up and be vulnerable and do this as a partnership or a collaboration or whatever's best. They're feeding their ego.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And it's okay.
It's no big deal.
You move on.
You move on because there's more opportunities. And guess what? What I love about situations like that, for example, is that when it wasn't fit to be, it wasn't fit to be, and it's okay. Why are you gonna get mad if something or somebody didn't fit into what you really, really wanted? Because why force something and then it was gonna be a pain in the butt to undo it? So might as well, if it meshed, perfect. And if it didn't, qué bueno. Porque no tienes que quebrar la cabeza para tratar de salirte de ese drama o ese rollo después. O sea,
it's so true.
La gente que está, la que no está, bendiciones. La gente que quiere regresar, regresa. O sea, no hay rollo.
The people that are here. The people that are not, let them go.
And it's okay,
okay.
because if somebody was not fit for you, guess what, ego? You were not fit for that person. Mm-hmm. So if you say, oh, it's not that they're not with me because I didn't like them. No, mamita, you were not fit for them either.
Yeah.
So
you've got to point the finger
at you. And when you're saying
every
like,
time,
I was not fit for her, pues entonces ¿con quién te vas a enojar? You're not going to get mad at nobody because you are taking responsibility. That if somebody is, that if you're so, happy and flaunting that that person is not with me in my life, well, big deal. You're not in their life.
It's true.
And they're a gift and you're a gift. So if you are not in their life, then you're equal.
Yeah, like it's no big deal. Like I think the biggest takeaway from this is one, like if anything is bubbling up where it's like you're frustrated or like you want to like lash out or you want to point a finger. Every time you want to point a finger, it's ego. When you point the finger at yourself, you are working to work through compassion.
Yes.
You're working to work through like love instead of ego. Love, which comes to like your truth identity. Every single one of us, if we're living in our truth, we're living in love. It doesn't mean it doesn't come without chaos. It doesn't mean it doesn't come without challenges or losses or trauma. It just means that we're not reacting with ego. We are learning from whatever the process that God has in front of us or universe has in front of us, and we're leading with love.
Correct.
So, the biggest takeaway I think from all of this is check yourself, right? Check yourself.
Yes.
If you're feeling anything like,
yes. If you're feeling off, check yourself. Mm-hmm. Theory, data, other people's ideas are to give you a check and balance of what could come in your future, what could be your outcome. But until you don't try it, you're not going to get your belief, your identity of that situation, right? And then when you are in that situation, make sure you tame your ego so that the belief that you establish, the truth that you establish is as raw and pure as could be. Because if you want to go out and set your own belief system based on anything that you want to put to work, but if you're dancing with ego all day long, your data, your results are going to be skewed. You're not going to get pure belief data because
it's about you.
It's about you.
And you don't live in this world alone.
That's not your truth. That's not your real, honest truth, because who we really are, who we truthfully are, is us raw based on love.
Period.
Love is compassionate, it's transparent, it's honest, it's forgiving, it's joyful, it's truthful, it's protective, it's giving, it's abundant. That's love, right? So when you are looking for your truth versus, what was the word that we used? Identity.
Ego identity.
Ego identity versus truth
identity.
True identity. It's going out, getting other people's ideas, trying your own ideas without ego, taming your ego
without
to
expectation
get,
or ego.
To get your own truthful identity. That is your non-egotistical, truthful identity. And when you get to meet that person, you're going to fall deeply in love with yourself. It is the reinvention of self-love.
I love that. I want everybody to also realize that in this process, when you are checking yourself, there's a lot of release that has to happen. You have to release. But what I've seen in the short time of like working with you is that when we've had those moments where it's like, release, like, it's okay, let it go. We're going to find a way. The most amazing things are brought into our life that fit what we were missing.
Yeah, what you were looking for.
And it's like, wow, but you won't ever receive that
unless you let go.
Unless you let go. So there's something beautiful about trying to find what your truth is. And it's not, we work at it every day. It's not something because we're meant to protect ourselves. And in protection, sometimes it goes off kilter and skewed, which is ego, right? But if you're checking yourself, that is work that you have to do every day and all different types of situations. And it starts, like, I really want to give everybody this tip, that it starts like, if you feel road rage, why are you feeling road rage? Like, déjalo, nada va a pasar. Like, there's nothing you can do. The guy's not going to go any faster. Like, are you going to rush around them and cause an accident? Like, start there. Check yourself.
Tranquilos. Pítale, pero déjalo que pase.
Pítale.
Oye,
not anymore, because people could shoot you.
I know, it's crazy. No, I know. I'm a big road rager sometimes. And
oh my God. Okay, hold on. Wait. I was going to close this episode. What happened? Well, you know what road rage is, right?
No. Yeah, but let me tell you, I'm constantly checking myself because you're only as good as your skills if you put them to action. So it doesn't mean the machine sometimes goes ballistic and loses its mindset and, you know, everything I've learned and trying to be
for sure. I love that.
No, sometimes I go nuts too, of course.
But in the process of going nuts, you're like, what the freak, Perla?
No, cálmate. O sea, so going about road rage, the other day I was in a very popular intersection here in our hometown, McAllen. And there's this homeless kid that was in the street, but he's dressed right. I don't know if he doesn't have a home or he does have a home, but he was asking for money. But he looks well put together, right? So I have programs of mentorship for students at risk of getting out of school, at risk students.
LoveSoldiersFoundation.org.
LoveSoldiersFoundation.org. And so I care for these kids. I genuinely do care for these kids.
Oh my God, I'll never forget you sending me a video, you bawling because of people that were hungry. Like you were bawling.
Yeah, no, those things really get to my heart. But so this kid, I lowered the window and I said, hey, why aren't you in school? He's like, no, hombre, miss, pues es que yo soy de la calle y a mí me gusta andar en la calle. Y yo sé, pero mira, ¿por qué no me das tu información? Y te metemos a la escuela, you know, but I'm being unconscious because I have like 50 cars behind me and I am stopped on a light speaking to this kid, right?
That was green?
And then it turned green and I was still like, talking to El Gordo Jordan. That's his name.
Ay.
So then this guy's like, beep, 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 pitándome, right? And then he goes around me, the guy, and then he's still like pitándome, right? Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm helping this kid, trying to get him off the streets. Hello, Perla, like egocentric Perla. He doesn't know what you're doing, who you're speaking to, and plus, he doesn't give an F who the hell you're talking to, right?
He wants to get to his destination.
So, in my truck, I'm like, okay, Gordo Jordan, I'm going to find you on YouTube. And I go following this guy because I had to take a turn, right?
You
so he was,
followed the guy?
Not followed him, but I turned into the lane where he was, right? And my truck has like a very strong, like, rum, rum, like a motor like that. And then I'm like, "Rrr." And then I got in front of him and I pressed on the brakes. I had lost my mind for that minute, Gene.
You were going to do what?
I wanted him to hit me. Like, because to me, in that moment of rage, I was like, what are you doing? Like, ¿para qué me estás pitando? ¿Qué quieres? ¿Que chocarme o qué? Like, ¿qué vas a hacer? That's my ego. That's Perla's crazy ass ego. I'm telling you.
And he could have shot you?
And no, and at the least, he was gonna crash into me because I was gonna make him.
You were willing to get crashed. So
that's my crazy ego.
Teach him a lesson.
I wanted to teach him a lesson que se esperara. Look at my crazy ego.
You could have gotten in an accident.
I know, but wait a minute. The worst part is that I get in front of him, and then I was like, and I get in front of him, and then I braked, right? And then so he brakes, and then because he passed me, and then I got next to him, and I was like, room, and then I lowered the window. Are you
kidding me right now?
Like, I lowered the window, and I was like, you didn't even know what I was doing. I was trying to rescue El Gordo Jordan from the streets, right? And then, so he goes straight, because that light went green, and he goes straight, like, let me leave this crazy lady, right? And then, there comes to me a state trooper. And I'm like, oh my God. And I go to the state trooper, and I'm like I was gonna just park myself. I was just like, give me a ticket, right? Like, hello, right? And then I bark, and the state trooper comes, and he's like,
oh my God, this is so good.
He's like, ma'am, I saw you road raging. And I said, yes, I'm guilty. Give me a ticket. I had a crazy moment of rage because I was trying to rescue somebody from the streets, and this man was just honking at me. He's like, are you okay? And I said, yes, I'm guilty. Give me the ticket. I'm going to come down. I was just road raging. Like, I accept responsibility that fast.
Yes.
Worse.
Yes.
Perla egotistic, like 6-7 years ago and back, I would have been like,
fighting with the guy.
Fighting with the cop.
Yeah,
like, why am I going to get a ticket if it was my right to protect because I was trying to rescue somebody's life? But no. Now I have my taming skills of my own ego.
Right.
And I was like,
you checked yourself.
Like, relájate.
You were gonna take the punishment.
Take back. I'm gonna take the punishment. I understand. I did wrong, and I snapped out of it. Okay, imagine me, ego Perla, going on a rampage like that. In jail. No. I would have crashed into the guy, and then I would have gotten in a fight with the cop.
And you would have gone to jail.
I would have probably gone to jail.
Yeah.
Ego takes you at that level.
I mean, for 5 minutes, but he would have cuffed you and taken you to jail.
Vámonos.
This is such a great...
ven a sacarme de aquí.
See, this is a great example of we're all flawed human beings.
Ego identity and your
truth.
We
all have ego identity, and we all have our truth identity, but it's up to us to work it.
Yeah.
It's up to us, our work. And you worked it.
And I did.
And you worked it because it could have been really bad.
Let me tell you, the cop...
Really bad.
He was like, okay, ma'am, so... I think you're doing better. I think you understand what you did wrong. I'm going to check your license and I'll come back. So he went to check my license. Everything was good. He comes back. He says, since you stopped yourself, I didn't have to turn on the lights on you, and you were understanding of the violation you committed, I'm going to give you a warning. And I said, thank you so much.
Aww.
So when you check and balance yourself, when you tame yourself, when you make a mistake like that and you retract and you apologize for what you did, right?
Another great lesson.
That's how you tame your ego, and people have faith in you, and they trust you.
And they feel.
I didn't get to tell the driver I was trying for him to crash into me.
Sorry.
I didn't tell him sorry, but I'll put it out in the universe. If you were the man that I wanted you to crash into me so that I can give you a lesson of why were you in such a big hurry, I'm sorry. It's true.
Okay. As we wrap this up, the takeaways to all of this is every single one of us has an ego, and every single one of us has the ability to live our truth. It takes work. You have to check yourself and know that any icky feelings that are coming up or any moment that you're having to prove a point, you're having to win, it's ego. So love is compassionate. Love is patient. And love is free. But also love is usually when you're more quiet than talking. Love is when you're listening more than you're speaking.
Correct.
Love is when you're not trying to make a point, when you're trying to like hear out and trying to find common ground.
Correct.
So, and knowing that, give yourself grace, because even Perla,
because
all of us.
that's why I
we have
told
the
you earlier.
moments.
In 2 hours from now, you don't know how the machine's gonna work. Like you could be put in a situation where the machine reacts perfectly, and sometimes you can lose it. But if you
Absolutely.
have the skills to tame your own ego,
It's short-lived.
then it's short-lived. You
short-lived.
implement it, te tranquilizas las calmas, and you know, and if you messed up, you apologize. Why not?
Yes. On the other side of every single day checking yourself, know that there is peace and calm and centeredness that allows you to be open and creative and receive what is abundantly yours. And that's the beauty of what we're trying to do with Heart, Mind, Money podcast, what you have founded in Latina Empire. So share with everybody how people can share them checking themselves, how people can share with them implementing these amazing tips that you're providing and resources that you're providing. How can they reach you?
They can reach me through my personal social media platforms, Reflexiona con Perla, or at The Latina Empire, thelatinaempire.com. We also have a 1-800 number. You can call us. You can reach us. We're all open ears and arms for you all.
Yes, we are hell-bent on creating a community of healing.
Yes.
It starts with your heart, and the Heart, Mind, Money podcast is about the Heart, Mind, Money method that will get you on the other side, and so that you can experience fulfillment, which
Joy,
is
abundance,
purpose,
purpose.
and it's a daily journey.
It's every day.
But it's a journey that you just have to turn on, and you can experience it now.
And decide that you want to make actions to get closer to this journey.
Awesome.
Thank you, baby doll.
Thank you. And we can't wait for the next one. See you guys on the next one.
Hey, have a great day. The responsibility lies in your hands.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to Heart, Mind, and Money podcast with Perla, the awesome Perla.
Thank you.
Yes, I want everybody to look into thelatinaempire.com. Look more into what this whole mission is. Also, on all our social medias is at The Latina Empire. At The Latina Empire. And to connect with Perla, who answers every single comment, message, we'll
anything.
send you a voice message, we'll ask you to send her your WhatsApp. She will answer anything, any problem, any advice. I mean, you're pretty remarkable at that. And you can find Perla on Instagram at Reflexiona
con Perla.
Reflexiona con Perla. But we are all across social media, and Perla is always, every single day, pouring into you through all social platforms at the Latina Empire. And we also have our community at the Mana Lounge that you can find more information at any of the links on any of our social medias. And we would love to have you as one of our manas.
We've got to keep learning.
We got to keep learning. We got to keep healing our heart.
Healing your heart.
Challenging our minds.
Challenge your mind to fill your pockets.
To fill your pockets. Thank you guys for having us.